So I don't remember too much. However, I can give you a rough outline, I suppose. That picture was taken at the stockyards. Yeah, on Keel Street when we used to play there and pass the hat, because at that time we were in depression, eh? Nobody's working, and well, we should start from the beginning, because how it all happened was my father bought a very small ukulele banjo, and he intended to learn how to play it, but he never did learn how to play it. I picked it up and I started playing. We bought a little simple book, simple chords, 3-chord part stuff, and I started playing it, and it all developed from that. My dad thought, oh boy, this is really something. We can, because I was one of 4 boys, so he bought everybody an instrument, and we learned how to play these instruments by ear. We never did take lessons, ever, except Don, who took piano lessons for a very short time. But in any case, this was about I guess I was 7 or 8, it'd be about 1933 when I started playing. And we eventually formed a little group among ourselves, the 4 boys, and we met Jimmy Melodzik, who I don't recall how we met him, but he played the mouth organ, and we used to, just jam every once in a while. It was nothing spectacular or anything, and we went from there. And Jimmy stayed with us for I guess almost 10 years. He eventually ended up learning how to play the clarinet, and he used to play in and around Toronto at the bars for a good many years, and I don't know what happened to him. However, when we started playing at church functions. We were pretty corny because we were self-taught, but we were cute, especially my brother Gene and Frank. Frank was young and blonde and very cute. He had a banjo. He couldn't play it, but he faked it. He just strummed it, which was a lot of fun for him. And we played at these church functions, and eventually that developed into we started going to play at amateur contests. in and around Toronto. This is big stuff. On the stage at the Roxy Theatre where they had strippers and everything. We were little kids playing in the amateur contest. And we won every amateur contest we ever went into. Not because of our musicianship, but because we were cute. We were very cute. Gene played the drums, and at that time Don played the Hawaiian guitar, and Jimmy played the clarinet, and Bob or Frank played the Jew's harp. You know what? I don't know what they call them nowadays. He eventually learned a couple of chords on the banjo, and he played along with us. And we would go from amateur contest to amateur contest to amateur contest, and we'd win all the prizes. And I don't know what the prizes were now. I forget whether they were cash prizes or just medals or statues or whatever. We passed around the hat, and well, not in the theaters. We played Shays when it was a strip joint, I guess. Mind you, we didn't participate in that. The only time we saw them was when we were backstage and walked out onto the stage to do our thing. Anyhow, that's what happened. And then the polio epidemic came along. And in order to, my dad and mother wanted to avoid that as much as possible, so Dad bought this trailer, which you've seen. We called it the Jeep, and we named ourselves, I don't know how we got the name, but Cy Perkins and his Hillbilly Rascals, but we just played 3 chords, you know, simple stuff. We had this trailer and we traveled all over Ontario. And what we would do would be we played mostly at hotels then, you know, like Windermere and the Big One Inn at the time, and we played at this type of place. And I don't think there was any hotel in Ontario that we didn't play at. And we passed the hat. Made a little bit of money, I guess. I don't remember how much. And let's see, we would, once again, everybody thought we were cute, and that was the attraction. When we got up to North Bay once, I came down with an illness. I had an obstruction of the bowel, and I was in the hospital. That was when the Dione Quints were into it then, and they were making a movie, and there was Rochelle Hudson, who was a female movie star, and Jean Herschel, which was a male movie star, and they were at the Club Top Hat one night, and we played there. And that's how they got to know us, and subsequently they invited us to go to Hollywood. And they would pay our way and train us, teach us music and everything, but my mother wouldn't have any part of it. I'm glad she didn't. But when I was in the hospital there with this surgery, these movie stars came to the hospital to see me and made a big fuss over me and all this sort of thing. Yeah. We just kept traveling around all over Ontario. We did that in the summertime, not all year round. But we had to go to school, so we went to school, and then in the summertime we'd do this. Eventually we stopped doing that, but the war came along, Second Great War, and what we did then, by this time, we had Jimmy with us, and we also had Carmen Oliver, who played the piano at the time. And he was played by ear as well. And by this time we learned a little bit, you know, and we played benefits for the war effort. All over Toronto and area, and in fact, you'll see some of the write-ups about what we did there. And about this time, we became the Kearney Brothers, and we call ourselves America's youngest dance band. Well, it was still simple music. We weren't accomplished musicians. Don't ask me why we call ourselves America's youngest dance band. I don't know. My father was in charge of all this sort of thing. I was born in Michigan, and we all were born there. I was born in Detroit. Theoretically, we'd all have dual citizenship, which I never took advantage of. I can remember we were up north of Temagami. As far north, we were way north of Temagami, and we were playing in beer halls, and Gene would go around playing solos on the drums and passing the hat, and we all sang, of course, terrible singers, but we did, and we would, at the same time, we steal the bottles of whiskey from my dad. Take them home. Get all these bags full of hooch, and my dad drank a little bit at that time. We didn't, of course. In the Junction on Edwin Avenue, and we lived at, in fact, when I started playing the banjo, we lived at Lansdowne and DuPont in an apartment building there. Bug-infested apartment building, cockroach. Once I was drafted, that was the end of the band. turn that off now.